Inside the stories that affect you. This is Inside KELOLAND.
Good evening and thanks for having us in. The battle against COVID-19 rages on nationwide with about 3 million confirmed cases since the virus first appeared. While some states tighten their restrictions, others are easing up. No matter which way you lean, there are a few things to keep in mind before going to the stores or large gatherings, especially if a loved one has a compromised immune system.
There isn't much Tammy Pierce hasn't caught. She'll be the first to tell you she's hooked on fishing.
I just like being outside and doing stuff.
Pierce hasn't been able to get out and enjoy her favorite pastime lately. The outdoors woman has had to spend most of her time inside because there are a lot of things she can't afford to catch.
I do not have an immune system.
A few months ago, Pierce had a bone marrow transplant after doctors had diagnosed her with acute myeloid leukemia, a cancer that affects the blood and bone marrow. For the transplant to work, she had to have several rounds of chemotherapy.
The hardest part of this whole procedure was I was in the hospital for almost a month by myself.
People who've had chemo already have to be very careful of where they go and who they see, so they don't get sick. Add to that the COVID-19 pandemic.
It does worry me somewhat what would happen if I would get it.
Pierce has been social distancing through the pandemic. Her story isn't uncommon. Many of us have loved ones we haven't seen in order to keep them safe. Like this story that aired in March, when KELOLAND News showed you a man who built a snowman outside of his 90-year-old mom's window at a retirement facility because he couldn't visit her in person. While these gestures help, it's hard staying away from a loved one. Now, with most everything open again and things seemingly back to normal, many of us may be wondering if it's finally safe to reunite with someone who has a compromised immune system. Unfortunately, Dr. Vinod Parameswaran with Vera Health says there's not an easy answer.
When it's safe is what I would say. And we struggle with this. I don't think there are right answers to any of this. If travel can be accomplished safely, then yes, preferably driving as opposed to flying.
Here are some things to keep in mind if you do plan on seeing a person who's high risk of catching COVID. Be responsible. Parameswaran says it's important to keep following basic guidelines like washing your hands, using hand sanitizer, wearing masks, and social distancing.
I know it's wonderful to give that hug, hold the hand, whatever it takes to be with our loved ones. Keeping them safe should also be our top priority.
He also recommends planning ahead. You should track your own behavior and be mindful of the places you're visiting before you visit your loved one. Doing so will limit your own potential exposure and possibly prevent you from spreading the virus.
So if someone has to visit someone with cancer who's getting chemotherapy, I think just to make sure that they don't have any of the symptoms that they were screened for every day.
Pierce says she has to be abundantly cautious, but she still worries about others giving up on safety guidelines.
Sometimes, when you go to stores, you see people that no masks, no cares in the world, and it's just like, I don't get it. What if they, get it, take it home and give it to their grandmother? How are they going to feel if they have a parent that's, is elderly or compromised?
For now, it's best to take it slow with people who have compromised immune systems. Doing so will help individuals like Tammy Pierce get closer to getting back to doing the things she loves with her family and friends.
Go fishing and do my own hooks and lines and stuff. Be able to weed my garden. I just want to do the things that I used to do, that I can't do now for fear I'll get an infection.
And we are rooting for you, Tammy. According to Dr. Vinod, it can take about 3 to 6 months for someone's immune system to bounce back from chemotherapy. There is a lot of controversy whether or not to wear a mask and if they can cause you harm. KELOLAND.com reporter Whitney Falk spoke with a local doctor to find out if masks are helpful or hurtful.
Masks as a part of an overall strategy are important. I mean, if we didn't believe that masks work in healthcare, we wouldn't be wearing them either.
Dr. Hoffman says there are multiple studies that have been done about the effectiveness of masks, and he encourages everyone to wear them.
In order for us to come together, we have to recognize that reasonable things can help contain this and protect the most vulnerable among us.
To learn the facts and fiction about wearing a mask, head to this story on KELOLAND.com. The coronavirus has changed how many of us do things. Up next, how the Girl Scouts is keeping members active virtually. Welcome back to Inside KELOLAND. The COVID-19 pandemic is preventing many people from gathering together in person for various meetings and activities, but one organization is working hard to make sure its members are still staying connected. Joining us today via Zoom to talk about Girl Scouts at Home is Stacy Andernacht. Hey Stacy, thanks for being on with us.
Hi Brady, thanks for having me.
It's kind of still unusual not to have you here in the studio, so maybe a virtual high five will do.
Yes, high five.
Well, a lot of changes are going on, and we want to know, how did your organization come up with the idea to do virtual programming?
Yeah, well, when COVID-19 came into our lives and we pivoted to social distancing and not meeting in person, we quickly had to change the way that we deliver our mission because we know we still wanted to instill the skills in girls that help them be the leaders of tomorrow. So very quickly, our team came together and decided to move into a virtual world, which we're all really familiar with right now. And so they created what's called a Girl Scouts at Home page on our website that offers various activities for the girls to do.
Isn't it interesting that the world stops, but we have to keep going? Like, we have to adapt. Yeah. Well, we're looking at this page right now. We have it up here on our screen. What has the response been like to this?
One of the really great things about our Girl Scout at Home page is that we have a very large council region. So we've been able to serve girls even in more rural areas of our council because we're equipping them with the things that they need to do to earn badges or patches right from home. So it's been really, really great, not just within our council, but actually nationwide. We've had Girl Scouts from other states participating in our programming, and it really shows that there was a need out there to continue with Girl Scouts. We heard a lot of families say that in that couple weeks of confusion with what was going to go on with school, they turned to Girl Scouts to really fill that void that their girls had, because they knew the activities were educational and complemented their curriculum that they were already learning in school.
Well, for anyone who might have questions about how the participation works, could you kind of walk us through the steps for how someone can participate?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways girls can participate. We have virtual live programs where they work essentially like you and I today. A girl registers and she gets a Zoom link and connects with our staff and other girls registered for the program, and they do the activities live. We also have at-home kits, whether it be a badge at-home kit or a patch series, or even we created backyard adventure boxes that gets the whole family involved and allows girls to explore right in their backyard and learn new things. So there are various ways that girls and their families can participate in this virtual programming.
Yeah, and it looks like we have that website up again, and you can kind of see up at the top there the virtual programming, the backyard adventure box that you mentioned. It looks pretty user-friendly if you're going on there to try to see how this all works.
Yeah, it is. And sticking with the whole virtual world, your registration is all online as well. And then within 2 weeks of the program closing, the kits and the activity pieces go out in the mail straight to the mailbox. And how fun is it for girls to get mail now these days?
I still get excited when I get mail, so unless it's a bill.
Right.
Well, is the participation, is that limited to members, or how does that work?
So we do have some of our programming that's for members only, and some of the programming is for our whole community. We have a free virtual newsletter that we've started called Juliet's Playground, named after our founder, Juliet Gordon-Low, and that has a bunch of activities in it that are Girl Scout related. We've seen that being very popular with home daycares and preschools in the areas, so that kids can give it a try. And so, there's lots of opportunities, and it's not too late for a girl to join. We're running an extended year membership program right now. So for $35, a girl can join, and her membership starts right away, all the way through September of 2021. So she can jump right in on some of these virtual programming options that we have.
Well, and I think what we have learned throughout all of this is the experiences that we have. We often take them for granted, but I think we're appreciating everything that we have a little more. And I would assume that goes for the experiences that the girls have. What types of things are they getting to do or experience through this virtual tool?
One of the most popular things is something we call sisterhood socials. And it's just a Zoom gathering of girls by age level, and they get to reconnect with each other. The other popular thing is camp. Girl Scouts are known for camp. And so it's been difficult to not see our girls in person this year and give them that camp experience. So we started a Ready, Set virtual camp, virtual experience. And so there again, they get a box with activities, they connect, they get to sing songs and see the girls they've seen at prior years camp. And it's led by a team member who teaches them fire safety, how to make your own first aid kit, even a fun little sunshine in a cloud traditional Girl Scout snack. So we definitely have been moving at the speed of girl into that virtual world and really meeting them where they're at and helping to address the needs that they have.
Well, it sounds like you are doing some wonderful things to try to get the Girl Scouts through this right now and still giving them a well-rounded experience there. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thanks, Brady.
Yep. All right. Well, a show choir at Roosevelt High School is hitting the right notes when it comes to inclusion. The big award it recently received and the difference the group is making when Inside KELOLAND returns. This past March, we introduced you to Roosevelt High School's groundbreaking all-abilities and all-inclusive show choir called Unity, Inc. And we have some great news. The group that pairs up students from all different backgrounds has won a national award for inclusion. KELOLAND's Matt Holson gets reaction from the team's creators and how Unity is inspiring other schools to prevent bullying and be more inclusive.
It's one of the first of its kind in the country, a competitive, all-abilities show choir. And now Unity, Inc. is an award-winning outfit.
Unbelievable. Yes, we were contacted just a few weeks ago by PACER's National Bullying Prevention Organization, based out of Minneapolis and LA, I believe, that we had received an annual award, a Unity Award.
Roosevelt head choral director Robin Starks-Holcomb says the United for Inclusion Award is handed out for outstanding acts to help others feel like they belong and know that they aren't alone. When we first covered Unity back in March, sophomore Jenna Bantama told us the group, made up of 60 traditional and non-traditional students, made her time at Roosevelt better.
It makes us feel like we belong here and that we're not different, but we're just people.
We prepared a competitive show. We sang 3 songs. We danced. We had formation changes. We had team building. We did everything that a typical show choir would do because they are one of our 4 show choirs here at Roosevelt.
Assistant choir director Randy Vandersloot says the same amount of thought and practice goes into Unity routines. COVID-19 changed how the group finished the year, but the students stuck together.
Through song, through dance, through friendship, through team building, they became family. And even through what's happening now in our current situation with COVID, these bonds and these friendships have continued to foster.
Unity was inspired by the student-led Best Buddies program at the school. Many of the buddies are staying in touch during the pandemic.
Parents have organized so that their buddy can come and see the graduate or see the birthday person. And it's, you can just see the faces as they light up and everybody's excited to see each other. Those bonds are genuine.
I just could not be more proud of these students and this program and ultimately our school, what Roosevelt High School has decided to be.
These women are already planning for next year and how that will look during the pandemic. They're also coaching other schools on how to create their own all-abilities show choirs.
The after effect of it all is I spent the remainder of the year answering emails from 3-4 states around us saying, we heard about this. We saw this, parents brought this to us. We were so moved by this. Our students brought this up to us. What can you tell us? How did you do this? Where did it start?
The two hope more competition pops up at other schools in the region for Unity to go up against. Inclusion is an idea they hope spreads across the country. It's hitting all the right notes here at Roosevelt.
You want to create something that lasts way beyond you, and that's something that is bigger than yourself and bigger than us and bigger than the we, and it's something that has its own power. And I think that is the ultimate goal because it's going to last beyond high school.
With Eye on KELOLAND, I'm Matt Holson.
Despite COVID-19, Starks-Holcomb promises there will be show choir seasons this next school year. It just depends on if it will be in person or if it will take place remotely. Whether you're looking to camp, go boating, or find a place to eat, the Yankton area has plenty to offer. While many people hook up their camper and then go down to the Lewis and Clark Lake, there may be another option for those looking for something a little more permanent. KELOLAND Sarah McDonald shows you how tiny homes are becoming a big attraction.
Chris Ibis and her husband moved into this home at the Executive Park Model Estates at the beginning of May. As someone who visits Yankton quite a bit, this was the perfect option for a second home.
My husband and I have been camping down here for years, and we have a boat in the marina. And when we saw this development popping up last summer, we got really interested because we were very tired of hauling the camper.
The same can be said for Sarah Snuggerud and her family. They live in Sioux Falls, but come down to their tiny home as often as they can.
I remember last fall driving by here and going, who in the world would want to live there? And so we decided to look, and we discovered that once you go inside, they are amazing. The spaces was perfect for our family.
These tiny homes, or park models, are located just across from Lewis and Clark Marina, giving people another option for vacationing or a second home, says owner Curtis Oliver.
It's kind of just another alternative, to camping. Trying to take the stress, just make it convenient. Everybody's so limited on time anymore. Here you can get done on work on Friday night, jump in the vehicle, you could be here by 6, 7 o'clock. Everything's here, done, you can go straight to the lake.
Oliver says these are custom homes, just smaller.
We have 3 different designs as far as floor space and size, and then we took each one of them and made a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom out of them. We have custom cabinets, granite countertops, 30-year warranty flooring, central air and heat. It will be a gated community, and it is a 45 to purchase one. You have to be 45 years of age. Families are more than welcome. They can come and stay.
Ibis says finding the right furniture for her home and items to use for storage help her make the most of the space.
We have our main living and kitchen area right here. And then we have a master bed with a washer and dryer and a full bathroom, which is a huge upgrade from those camper bathrooms. And then we have what we call our office, because it's a real flexible room for us. My husband will sometimes still work from the lake, or he wants a little place to play guitar, or I want to read.
And in some cases, Oliver says these homes can offer a more efficient lifestyle, leaving more time to enjoy the amenities of your home and the lake.
If you like lake life, this takes all the hassle out of it.
And these homeowners agree. They may have downsized their way of living, but not their quality of life.
We love it here. And we've met some wonderful people. We have people beside us are from Colorado and Nebraska, and some people from Sioux Falls. And we're anxious for it to fill up.
This is just the best of all lake living, is just to be here, go to the boat, come home, grill a steak, and it's just an amazing place to be.
With Eye on KELOLAND, I'm Sarah McDonald.
Olivier says they also have a storage shed and are building a storm shelter. To find out more about these homes, you can find a link under the story on KELOLAND.com. Pizza is a comfort food for a lot of us, but it's also putting food on the table for people in need. A fundraiser is allowing South Dakota's prison inmates to give back to the community. And tonight, we'll show you what this means and how it's mutually beneficial for both parties.
All of our meals right now are to go.
Due to COVID-19, the banquet's dining hall is still empty. That doesn't mean stomachs are automatically full.
The numbers of people that we're serving meals to hasn't changed.
That's why this $1,895 donation is so important.
Thank you for what you're doing for us too.
Thank you. This is a huge gift.
All right.
Thank you.
South Dakota Penitentiary Chief Warden Darren Young is presenting this check on behalf of his inmates. The men bought pizzas and choose to donate money from the sales to a charity or nonprofit.
They could send that money or keep that money, but to take part in this nonprofit charity event is amazing.
The inmates also donated a check to the Bishop Dudley Hospitality House. Executive Director Madeline Shields says there's a connection between the two.
Many of our guests have been incarcerated or have been in the penitentiary, or their families are, or they know someone who is.
These donations don't just help the organizations.
The inmates can watch this interview and see where their money is going to.
Young says this type of benevolence is also good for the rehabilitation of people serving time.
This is part of that, in my opinion, to help them grow and be a better part of our community when they rejoin our society.
Places like the banquet ensure people have full stomachs.
I get a meatloaf with a really neat Dijon on top, like a sauce.
And today, we're seeing how a little bit of kindness is creating full hearts.
Yeah, now the kids have food. Every single penny that comes into this building makes a huge difference in our ability to provide for people in need.
The pandemic has affected the number of volunteers at these two nonprofits. To learn how to volunteer, we've listed information for both under this story at KELOLAND.com. This past week, the Al Rayad Shrine hosted a birthday bash for one of its members. Well, what's so big about that? Well, this member didn't join the shrine until he was 85 years old, and now he's celebrating his 100th birthday.
What am I going to do on my 101st birthday? Yeah. Well, I'm going to do that what I did on my 100th birthday.
Arvin Hanneman's family celebrated his 100th birthday on Monday, cap, cake, and all. But on Wednesday, it'll be his fellow Shriners' turn. It's not a surprise party, but as Hanneman jokes, at his age, every birthday's a surprise now.
Yeah. I don't get a birthday like this surprise every year.
So why did this one-time farmer join the shrine at age 85?
I suppose I joined the shrine just to go there and have something to do on Wednesdays.
Plus, he says some of his relatives were members, and he thought, why not join too? Hanneman played in the Oriental Band and often marched in parades. He's still a member, just not as active as he used to be. But to say that he still gets around okay is an understatement.
I'm able to drive my car, walk, mow the lawn, do whatever I have to do, and ride my bike.
A few years ago, the mayor even declared July 28th Arvin Hanneman Day in Sioux Falls, a fitting declaration for a man who says he never thought he'd see the day when he turned 100 years old.
I was close to it, so I figured I'm going to make it.
Hanneman says good parents and farm life are a couple of reasons why he's lived so long. You can find out more about today's topics online at KELOLAND.com. Just click on the Inside KELOLAND section. Join us every Sunday following the 10 o'clock news right here on KELO TV. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to join us again next week for more on what's going on inside KELOLAND.